Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today I woke up this morning to a notification from my pal 7nose on YouTube. Shout out to him, who told me that there were new attachments added in this last update for the Model 680 shotgun. So we have a new 6-round slug magazine, a 6-round buckshot mag that both have a detachable magazine, making it easier to reload rather than having to load in shells individually. On top of that, and the real kicker here, is the addition of the Dragon's Breath shells. Was anyone else having flashbacks to World War II's flame shotguns and Dragon's Breath MOG 12 and Black Ops 4? I was, but I'm here to lay it all out for you, all the facts, and share with you stats and my thoughts on this fun new attachment that is sure to make plenty of people rage. Is it overpowered? Well, let's check it out. We're going to start first with the basics, then go over how barrels and muzzle attachments affect it, and see if E.O.D helps mitigate its effects. Dragon's Breath, if you don't know, is basically just a fire-breathing shotgun shell. It shoots sparks and inflicts fire damage over time. Now, when you shoot someone, you deal an initial pellet damage based on pellets hit and the range that you are at. And then there are 3 ticks of damage after that, which is the fire damage kicking in. With Dragon's Breath, each tick of health will deal either 10 or 11 hit points. There didn't seem to be any reason as to why they would differ, but thankfully it was one or the other. It was either 10 or 11 hit points. This means that with your base hit of damage from the shell, you can deal an additional 30 to about 33 points of extra damage from the fire damage. While that sounds insane on its own, they balance it in such a way that the base one-shot distance, meaning the distance you can literally just one-shot them with no fire damage whatsoever, is drastically reduced. For example, the base Model 680 can one-shot up to 14 meters on its own with normal buckshot. With Dragon's Breath on, you can only instant kill someone from about 7.8 meters. Any further than that, and you will get the kill from burn damage. So for each barrel and attachment, I'm going to show you guys the base one-tap distance and then the one-shot burn distance. For the base barrel, like I said, you can one-tap at about 7.8 meters. The max burn distance I was able to get with the 3 ticks of burn that killed someone was about 14 meters. Funny enough, that's the base model's one-shot range without Dragon's Breath. The Liberator barrel can one-tap at 8.5 meters with a burn distance of 15 meters. Not the biggest increase. Now adding the choke to this increases the burn distance up to 16 meters, and the Marauder took it up to 18 meters, which is actually a really good increase. The pattern you're going to see here is that the choke makes very little difference with Dragon's Breath on, and if you want to do the most damage with it on, then you need to use the Marauder Suppressor muzzle attachment. The SWAT barrel, or the baby barrel, had a one-shot insta-kill range of about 6.3 meters. The burn distance was about 11 meters. As you would expect, it's the weakest of the bunch. The Marauder, though, did take it up to 13 meters, and the choke took it up to 12 meters for that burn distance. And then last we have the Sport barrel, which could one-tap at 9 meters, and the burn range for this one was 16 meters. If you have the choke, it didn't really help much at all. It was still about 16 meters from what I could tell, but the Marauder Suppressor took it up to 19 meters. This is the greatest burn potential range for Dragon's Breath, and if you want to do the most damage possible, the Sport barrel combined with the Marauder Suppressor is absolutely the way to go. Now, one thing to always remember is this range is dependent on the amount of pellets that are hit on the target. If you just graze the enemy, you're probably not going to get the kill even with the burn. So in terms of basic stats and damage information, that's basically it. Dragon's Breath offers a smaller damage output overall, but adds a bit of quirkiness and uniqueness and allows for you to duck in and out of cover to get those cat and mouse kills where they can't see you and they just kind of burn to death from your blast. Before we finish up though, we're going to take a look at the 6-round mag Dragon's Breath attachment that was also introduced. What this attachment does is it gives you a detachable mag with 6 shells, and this enables you to reload all 6 shells at once rather than having to do it all one by one. It technically is faster at reloading 6 shells overall, but I really don't mind having to load each shell individually in, since I can do 1 or 2 after most kills. I don't really find it better or worse, it's just kind of different, honestly. The other upside to this is that it gives you a slightly faster aim down sights time. The base aim down sights time I was measuring was at about 21 frames or 350 milliseconds for the Model 680, and the 6-round mag boosted it up to 19 frames, so it was about 2 frames faster. Now, there are some downsides to this attachment though. For one, you get a slightly slower movement speed, but as you can see here, it really isn't that bad at all. It's barely noticeable in game really. The biggest drawback is the fact that this does not function with any of the other barrels. You are stuck with the base barrel stats, and so the only hopes of you having a better one-shot range is with the Marauder and the choke attachments. The base Dragon's Breath one-shot was about 7.8 meters, and the max burn distance was 14 meters. The choke didn't do anything to add to these ranges based on my testing, or it was just very minimal, and the Marauder suppressor took it to basically 9.5 meters for the insta-tap, with the one-shot burn distance of about 17 meters, which is not half bad at all. So if you plan on running this attachment, the 6-round mag, I strongly recommend the Marauder suppressor to really elevate that one-shot and one-shot burn potential effectively. Overall though, I'd rather run the normal barrels and the normal Dragon's Breath shells most of the time so that I can really elevate my range and have a bit more control of my reload. But I really can't deny how cool this magazine makes the shotgun look, so I'll probably end up running this a lot just because of how it looks, which is silly, but I mean, can you blame me? So with that out of the way, the big question that remains now is whether or not E.O.D will help mitigate Dragon's Breath at all, and from what I can tell, don't bother. As it stands, E.O.D does not affect Dragon's Breath at all. I'm not sure if it's bugged, but the ranges did not change, and despite getting the notification that my enemy has E.O.D on, the fire damage still did the same amount of damage, and the one-shot ranges were unchanged. I think it's bugged, but honestly, who knows? That's all there really is to say about E.O.D. If someone's driving you crazy with Dragon's Breath, E.O.D is not really going to change anything, unfortunately for you. So with the end of the video near, what are my thoughts on this? Is Dragon's Breath overpowered? No. In most cases, you're better off running your normal buckshot and instantly killing someone, rather than having to rely on the burn to do it at a lesser range. Now that's not to say it isn't cool or different and exciting. It is new and fresh, and you'll probably see a lot of it when people start unlocking it, but it just isn't as effective as a normal shotgun's buckshot in my opinion. Annoying? Yes, and I have a feeling most people, when they die, they're going to see they're getting burned, and despite them being a little bit weaker than normal shells in my opinion, they're going to blame Dragon's Breath as being overpowered, when really it's just frustrating, and they'd probably be killing you a lot more with normal buckshot anyway. If you're slightly off with your aim, the burn will still not kill you, just like with normal buckshot, so it isn't going to be that much more rewarding for players with bad aim. So let's just be happy that it isn't available on the sawed-off 725. And folks, that's just about gonna do it for this video. Dragon's Breath is a blast, literally, and it's overall cool to see the devs still showing some love for the Model 680 months after launch. I hope we can see some more unique ammo attachments soon too for other shotguns, so kudos to Infinity Ward for doing this sort of thing. If you enjoy my guides and breakdowns, leave a comment and let me know, and subscribe for more content like this. And with all of that said and out of the way, I want to wish you all a happy day/night, and I will see you in the next video. Brr.